Chapter 91, There is not much useful information, the extremely cold valley in Beiyuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fortunately, the immortal standing right in front of him was just a remnant soul, otherwise, he'd be spitting up blood, no chance to show off up front, and his attempts to play it cool later. Total fail, the immortal felt a pang of annoyance. In all his long years, this was the first time he'd been so thoroughly humbled, completely outmaneuvered by a younger guy. Tang Chen hadn't meant to mess with the immortal this time, it was just collateral damage, so, he laid out everything that happened in the Kunlun secret treasure. After hearing the whole story, the immortal said earnestly, "No wonder I sensed such an unusual power in your flames, capable of incinerating the blood-devouring evil emperor's dark influence. Good thing you had that, or you'd be joining me soon." Tang Chen's mind sharpened, he caught the emphasis, the immortal didn't hold back, saying plainly, "The fall of the immortals has come, and I was lucky to survive. To preserve immortal energy, I delved into countless ancient texts, finally deciding to venture into Kunlun Fairy Mountain. But it was a dead end. I not only failed to find anything, but got tainted by the blood-devouring evil emperor's evil influence, almost losing my mind." Suddenly, it clicked for Tang Chen, no wonder the immortal knew about the blood-devouring evil emperor. "I tried everything to purge that evil, but nothing worked. It only got harder to control. Finally, I decided to end my physical form, to completely eradicate the evil thoughts. Otherwise, I'd destroy the entire Qianlong Academy. But I sensed that the rise of this evil wasn't random. It was poised to engulf the Xuanhuan realm. So, I guarded the back mountain as a remnant soul, placing a drop of true immortal blood on the 100th floor, waiting for the one destined to arrive." Tang Chen was deeply moved. Both the immortal and the Kunlun master had been infected by these dark forces, but the Kunlun master had already passed, while the immortal was still alive. Now, it was clear how desperate the immortal had been, to consider self-destruction, and Tang Chen was filled with admiration for the immortal. He was willing to sacrifice everything to uphold Qianlong Academy's honor, for thousands of years. He willingly offered up a drop of his own blood to await someone who could overcome the challenge. That kind of integrity demanded respect. "Senior, do you know where the blood-devouring evil emperor is?" Tang Chen asked, his voice serious. "I don't," the immortal said, shaking his head. "Do you know the level of cultivation of the blood-devouring evil emperor?" Tang Chen continued. "I don't," the immortal repeated, shaking his head again. "Do you know the connection between Kunlun Fairy Mountain and the blood-devouring evil emperor?" Tang Chen asked patiently. The immortal shook his head. Tang Chen's face fell. Great. Not a single nugget of useful information. He thought the immortal would hold all the secrets, but it seemed their knowledge was about the same. "Kunlun Fairy Mountain is dangerous territory. You should probably stay away for now. But if you get the chance, go check out the extreme cold canyon in the North Plains," the immortal said suddenly. Ding. New check-in location updated. Next check-in location, extreme cold canyon. Tang Chen kept his cool, his dark eyes met the immortal's gaze. "Why do you say that?" The immortal replied, "After being tainted, I scoured the world for a cure. I stumbled upon the extreme cold canyon and discovered it suppressed the evil within me. I never figured out why. Maybe you can find some answers." Tang Chen nodded, committing the name to memory. The immortal was pleased, saying, "I had plans for if someone reached the peak, but became scared by the blood-devouring evil emperor and ran away. Turns out, all that worry was for nothing. You, Tang Chen, possess a rare kindness. Please, allow me to pay my respects." With that, the immortal bowed. "Senior, no need for that." Tang Chen quickly reached out his hands. "It's my duty to protect our country. Besides, this situation is huge, and could affect the entire eastern wilderness. Of course I had to step up." Xianjian Cave was one of the 6 great caves. If the eastern wilderness were to suffer, they'd be the first to fall. That's why Tang Chen was so determined to investigate. Plus, the check-in location had been updated, and it was in the extreme cold canyon. Tang Chen couldn't miss the lottery. All in all, the situation was a no-brainer. "You, Tang Chen, have your own safety at heart. I will not be stingy." As the immortal spoke, a simple jade ruler materialized and gently landed in Tang Chen's hand. Tang Chen felt a powerful resonance between the Kunlun ancient mirror and the Kunlun fairy mountain key. This is the Kunlun ancient ruler. I found it in Kunlun fairy mountain. When activated, it can measure the earth and stars. It's every bit as powerful as your black mysterious fairy sword and the Kunlun ancient mirror, the immortal said, smiling. Senior, this gift is too generous. I can't accept it. Tang Chen's face was a picture of feigned terror. Yeah, right. He gripped the Kunlun ancient ruler tight. The immortal waved it off. I'm giving this to you for the extra bit of protection. That way, you can safely cultivate the resources you get from mountain climbing, as well as the drop of true immortal blood. The reward for clearing the 100th level was a drop of true immortal essence and blood. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that the cultivation resources from climbing, plus the essence and blood, was enough to create a true powerhouse. Senior, rest assured. I'll take good care of Qianlong Academy. Tang Chen vowed. The immortal nodded in satisfaction. His body began to fade. The remnant soul's time was almost up. My friend Tang Chen, I must go. The immortal slowly rose and bowed to Tang Chen, a wide smile on his face. I've lived so long, and now I'm finally free. And I got to joke around with someone as great as you, Tang Chen. This old man is more than content. It's a shame there's no turning back on the path of immortality. Otherwise, I'd drink 1,000 glasses of wine with my friend Tang Chen, and we wouldn't go home until we were passed out drunk. That with those words, a breeze swept through, the immortal faded away, bit by bit, and the name GG was lost to the eastern wilderness forever. Chapter 92. How could this extremely crude plan be his? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Tianjizhenxian fade away, Tang Chen felt a pang of sadness. Their time together had been brief, yet, Tang Chen sensed Tianjizhenxian's pure heart. He was devoted solely to Qianlong Academy, and to the good of the world. Otherwise, Tianjizhenxian wouldn't have sacrificed his physical form, suppressing the Academy's back mountain with a mere wisp of his soul, setting up all those trials, from the 90th step onward. Each gatekeeper was, in essence, a past version of Tianjizhenxian, each one showing a different stage of his life, from his initial arrogance, to his later restrained power, to his final flickering candle of life. Every aspect of his existence was reflected in those trials. If there's an afterlife, I'll share a drink with you, predecessor. Tang Chen bowed deeply. After a moment, Tang Chen turned and began his descent. As he walked, he tallied his gains. First, he'd successfully checked in and drawn the star prize, the free and ultimate intention. Second, he'd acquired a drop of true immortal blood, along with various cultivation resources, from climbing the mountain. Finally, he'd received the Kunlun ancient ruler from Tianjizhenxian, and unlocked a new check-in location. All in all, a significant haul. Gains and worries, he mused. We should probably step up our investigation into the bloodthirsty evil emperor, and be even more discreet. Nothing is coincidental. If both Tianjizhenxian and Kunlun Zhenxian were tainted by evil thoughts, others might be as well, hidden in some special way. Tang Chen resolved. Upon his return to Xianjian Cave Heaven, he would advance to the Grandmaster realm. He'd been running around too much lately, wasting precious time. It was time for secluded cultivation. Meanwhile, outside, the crowd of onlookers and talented cultivators remained. They awaited Tang Chen's return. Some wanted to witness his extraordinary presence, others sought to learn what opportunities he'd found. Their motives varied, but they all watched the entrance to the back mountain with tense anticipation. Buzz. A wave of warm light washed over the area. Before the crowd could react, Tang Chen emerged, his form radiating an otherworldly grace. Clad in white robes, his black sword at his waist, he was tall and lean, his skin like polished jade. With each step, a shimmering light danced around him. At that moment, all else faded into the background, only Tang Chen remained. Maybe, this is an immortal, many thought to themselves. They assumed that Tang Chen must have struggled fiercely to conquer each level after breaking through 100 at a time. Instead, Tang Chen was as composed as ever. Compared to him, the other talented cultivators looked unimpressive. It was like they belonged to a different era. Young friend Tang, did you see the dean? An elder of the academy rushed forward. Tianjizhenxian had been the dean of Qianlong Academy. Since the immortal's passing, the elders of Qianlong Academy had changed multiple times, but the position of dean had remained vacant, a testament to Tianji's pure dedication, unmatched by anyone. Tang Chen nodded slightly. Then you know everything? The elder pressed. He knew the reason Tianji Zhenxian had re-established the trials in the back mountain. He expected Tang Chen to be awestruck, perhaps even frightened, by the secrets he'd learned, but Tang Chen remained calm. It was astonishing. Dong 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 dong. Tang Chen was about to reply. Suddenly, a mournful bell echoed from the back mountain. Its tone was like a lament, a cry of mourning. The sound alone brought sorrow and unease. Dean! Dean! The elder's eyes glazed over. In an instant, he shot toward the back mountain as fast as he could. Other senior members of Qianlong Academy sensed something amiss, their faces filled with sadness. They too rushed toward the back mountain. What's going on? Strange. The elder only spoke with Tang Chen briefly, then reacted so dramatically. Is there something more to it? This must be related to the opportunity. That the crowd buzzed with speculation. Some attempted to follow, but found the back mountain completely sealed off. The atmosphere grew heavy. Many looked at Tang Chen, hoping to find some clue. Tang Chen ignored them. He retrieved the 9 blood ice grass and handed it to Qin Shiyan. Overcome with emotion, Qin Shiyan nearly knelt. Tang Chen caught her, smiling. We already discussed this. I'm simply keeping my promise. Princess Bailing doesn't need to do this. I understand, Junior Master. Qin Shiyan nodded fervently, gazing at Tang Chen with her gem-like eyes, and said shyly, if Junior Master doesn't mind, you can call me Shiyan. Princess Bailing feels a bit awkward. All right. Tang Chen agreed with a smile. Qin Shiyan's heart raced, her cheeks flushed. After their exchange, Qin Shiyan and the others departed in haste. Having obtained the 9 blood ice grass, they would seek help from the Lord of Qingmu to eradicate the illness completely. Knowing the severity of the situation, they dared not delay. Looks like you all gained something this time. Tang Chen looked at Yi Qingru and the others, a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. The cultivators from Xianjian Cave Heaven possessed both talent and strength. As sword cultivators, they were strong-willed. Tang Chen's brilliance overshadowed them, but that didn't diminish their worth. Luo Yuheng was ecstatic. She only wished that Tang Chen could slightly suppress Hua Tiandu. Instead, Tang Chen had conquered the back mountain in one swoop, becoming the center of attention. Hua Tiandu and Yang Ling were completely forgotten. This was exactly what she wanted. What happened today will spread throughout the East Wilderness. I'll spread rumors that Tang Chen and I are a couple. Then, I'll leak news of our engagement, creating a buzz. With Tang Chen as a perfect example, Hua Tiandu will be completely overshadowed. When the rumors circulate, Hua Tiandu and Xinkuan Cave Heaven will be caught in a storm of public opinion. They won't have the face to continue the engagement. A rough, even naive plan formed in Luo Yuheng's mind. She believed it to be foolproof. She was on cloud 9. How were you able to reach the top of the back mountain so quickly? What kind of power did you use? Just as Luo Yuheng was lost in her thoughts, a cold voice cut through the air. The voice was directed at Tang Chen, and it held a hint of challenge. Everyone turned toward the source. They were all surprised. How could it be him? Chapter 93, The Power of the Ancient Kunlun Ruler, Crushing 2 Geniuses with One Finger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 93, Kunlun Ruler, One Finger Domination. It was Huadu who spoke. The crowd went silent. Everyone knew the name Huadu. He was famous across the eastern wasteland. Folks were amazed by his innate strength, but even more so by his dedication to cultivation. Huadu was like a monk, completely absorbed in cultivation and indifferent to the world. So, most figured that after being expelled, Huadu would have split to find a quiet place to cultivate and return to his endless cycle of practice. Instead, he stayed, and now he was questioning Tang Chen. Talk about a shock. Do I have to answer you? Who do you think you are? Tang Chen looked at Huadu, his voice dripping with scorn. If Huadu had asked respectfully, Tang Chen would have probably replied civilly, but Tang Chen caught the disdain in Huadu's eyes. Huadu acted like an immortal looking down at a mortal ant. The immortal deigned to ask, so the ant better answer and be grateful. That attitude was repulsive. Tang Chen wasn't having it. The crowd was stunned at Tang Chen's response. Huadu was the chief disciple of Xinkuan Cave. Tang Chen's words were practically spitting in his face. Presumptuous, Huadu growled, a blazing aura flaring around him. He wasn't just the chief disciple of Xuanhuan cave, he was a true immortal of Qiang. As his memories returned, Huadu's immortal arrogance resurfaced. Tang Chen was talented, sure, but Huadu was a god. How dare a mortal tarnish the power of an immortal? Tang Chen, stop being so arrogant. You think you can just do whatever you want here? Chief Huadu is just asking a question, and you're acting like a jerk. A cultivator as arrogant as you is asking for a quick death. Ao Qianquan and Yang Ling stepped forward, their eyes blazed with murderous intent. Yang Ling had wanted Tang Chen dead for a while now. Ao Qianquan realized that Tang Chen's recent gains made him a potential threat to Wu-Tu country. He had to be stopped now before he became dangerous. It seemed the higher-ups were suddenly too busy to keep order. Leaving things to their guardians was their signal. This was their chance. Just admit you want my treasure. All the excuses are tiresome. All three of you, come at once, and let's stop wasting time. Tang Chen surveyed the trio, his hands were behind his back, and his posture was calm. Tang Chen would train in seclusion when he returned to Xianjian cave, but now was an opportunity to test the power of the Kunlun ruler. You're asking for it. Yang Ling's murderous intent was the most intense. He roared, blood erupting from his pores and turning the air into a sea of blood. During the trip, Yang Ling had mastered the blood war holy scripture. Now, he was like a blood sea god of war. Each wave of his fist caused the sea of blood to crash, leaving the crowd shaking in fear. Qilin, descend. Ao Qianquan summoned the Qilin jade horn. A giant Qilin appeared behind him in an instant. This Qilin felt real. It was far more solid and powerful than the Shangyu Qilin summoned by Ao Zhouxiao. Yang Ling and Ao Qianquan are this strong. How much stronger are the chief disciples? Someone in the crowd cried out. Just watching was enough to make their knees weak. The pressure was overwhelming. It felt like the end of the world. At the same time, Huadu acted. 9 blazing suns appeared above his head. Standing beneath their light, he seemed to have transformed into an immortal. He waved his hand, and thousands of rays of red light tore through the sky, attacking Tang Chen from every direction and sealing off his escape. 3 arrogant prodigies together. How will Tang Chen handle this? The crowd watched Tang Chen with bated breath, but Tang Chen looked calm. He pulled a simple jade ruler from his waist. The jade ruler was ordinary, almost unremarkable. Tang Chen channeled spiritual power into the jade ruler. Dense, obscure runes shimmered on its surface, each shining like a bright star. Open, Tang Chen murmured. Then, he lowered the jade ruler, swish, star. The terrifying attacks from Ao Qianquan, Ong Ling, and Huadu were instantly cleaved apart by the jade ruler. The space around them solidified, feeling like it would shatter at any moment. What kind of technique is this? A cold shiver ran through the crowd. The spiritual power fluctuation from the jade ruler was extremely weak, almost unnoticeable, yet, the power was terrifying. It had broken the combined attacks of 3 prodigies with ease. That jade ruler must be extraordinary. Could it be something he found on top of the hill? An immortal resides on the mountain top. This jade ruler is likely an object of the gods. It must be an immortal artifact. It has to be. Only immortal weapons have such power. The crowd went wild, including the Black Xian immortal sword. Tang Chen possessed 2 immortal weapons, the wealth of power. They had no idea about the Kunlun mirror. Some might faint from envy if they knew. One person held 3 immortal weapons. Tang Chen was the only one in the whole East Wasteland to have such luck. An immortal weapon. A mere mortal can't possess an immortal weapon. Only I can use it. Huadu stared at the Kunlun ruler in Tang Chen's hand, his eyes turning bloodshot. His memory was rapidly returning. He was regaining the 8th level of his past life. So that's why you're so confident. You're relying on the power of that weapon. Ao Qianquan sneered. Tang Chen shook his head and sighed. I thought you were better than Ao Hongchen and Ao Zhouxiao, but you're all the same. Turns out your Wu-Tu country is nothing special. Tang Chen put away the Kunlun ruler. He raised a finger and pointed it at Yang Ling and Ao Qianquan. 3 fingers to kill the living beings. The ground shifted. The living beings in the space felt their vitality drain away. A wave of pure, unadulterated destruction weighed down on everyone's minds. Yang Ling and Ao Qianquan were horrified. They activated every defense they had. Boom. Starred at a deafening explosion erupted. The Qilin, radiating ancient power, was instantly crushed by the finger. The spiritual energy storm suppressed Ao Qianquan and slammed him into the ground. Yang Ling flew backward, vomiting blood. He crashed through a dozen buildings before barely stopping. Just one finger, with just one simple finger, the two prodigies were defeated. They were helpless. Chapter 94, Are you worthy of playing with fire in front of me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is a snooze fest, Tang Chen said, clearly bored. He'd mostly been testing the waters with that finger move. He never figured Ao Qianquan and Yang Ling wouldn't be able to handle it together. It surprised him, sure, but mostly just made him feel like he was wasting his time. His opponents just weren't cutting it. Even beating up on the weaklings was becoming a drag. The people around him were stunned. Was he complaining about beating them too badly? It wasn't that Ao Qianquan and Yang Ling were weak, it was that Tang Chen was just too damn strong beyond all reason. That finger, they figured, would have wrecked a grandmaster, let alone a couple of geniuses. Still wanna go? Tang Chen asked, turning to Hua Tiandu. Hua Tiandu's face flushed crimson. How dare a mere mortal speak to an immortal like that? What a joke! He reached out, and a jade ruler flew from his waist into his hand. Then, Hua Tiandu took a single step forward. A wave of burning heat radiated out, distorting the air. Hua Tiandu was bathed in the light, runes crawling all over his body, each one glowed with fiery red light. What is this technique? It's nothing like the Qianquan Dong Tian skills. And what's that jade ruler? The energy coming off of it is powerful and ancient. It seems like it's just as strong as Tang Chen's jade ruler. It's not just the skills and the ruler. Did you hear what Hua Tiandu said about Tang Chen being immortal, and that he was an immortal? Is he out of his mind? The crowd was shocked and confused. Hua Tiandu seemed like a completely different person. All that ascetic monk stuff, the Taoism, gone. Instead, he was radiating an aura of condescension and pure dominance. Hua Tiandu, top disciple of Qianquan Grotto Heaven, reincarnation of Qiyang true immortal, possessor of the Yang Dao body, bearing the weight of Gi, wielding the red measuring heavenly immortal ruler, donning the holy armor, 1,000 miles climbing clouds holy boots, heavenly saint inner armor, jade cold holy fist gloves, practicing the great burning heaven immortal technique, completing the Qianquan holy technique. Figures, he's the reincarnation of a true immortal. All the immortal gear and magic comes standard. Tang Chen saw right through Hua Tiandu. Then, another piece of information popped up. True immortal memory awakening, currently 80%. Tang Chen's eyes narrowed. He remembered that the first time he saw Hua Tiandu, only 60% of his memory had awakened. Now it was at 80%. No wonder Hua Tiandu was acting so different. He was being influenced by his true immortal memories. Kneel before me. Hua Tiandu, radiating the power of a true immortal, charged forward. A massive will spun behind him, and he closed the distance in a heartbeat. The red heaven immortal ruler blasted out a blinding light, burning through the air. You think you can play with me? Tang Chen activated Tuasha ancient emperor flame. Instantly, a rainbow-colored flame bloomed, easily obliterating every inch of the vast sea of light. When the flame touched the red measuring celestial ruler, it started shaking and dimmed. As if terrified of the ancient emperor's flame, Tang Chen smiled faintly. His spiritual power surged, annihilating all the brilliance and burning out the blazing light. Even the wheel behind Hua Tiandu was suppressed and became unstable. What kind of flame is this? How is it suppressing my Yang Dao body? Hua Tiandu said, surprised. His expression suddenly changed, and he said in a domineering voice, how dare a mortal taint the power of an immortal? I'll show you what the supreme Yang Dharma is. Hua Tiandu's body began to glow with a blinding light. Countless rays erupted from him until he was a ball of pure heat. Then, the transformation began. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, and from 3, all things are born. The wheel blazed, suspended in the sky. Its light was so intense that it eclipsed the real sun. It was as if the heavens and the earth were radiating heat, scorching the universe. This was the Dharma manifestation of the Yang Dao body, the sun burning the sky. The fierce fire came from everywhere, endless, vast, and all-consuming. the onlookers felt their bodies overheating and had a strong urge to get out of there. Some people's spiritual power even spontaneously combusted and couldn't be controlled. They say Hua Tiandu has the Yang Taoist body. Looks like it's true. That combined with the fire technique he's been practicing. It's a perfect match, doubling the power of both. What a terrifying Dharma manifestation. It can even burn spiritual power. Once a cultivator can't use their spiritual power, most of their techniques are useless. I don't know how Tang Chen is going to deal with this. That the crowd retreated, and felt much better. They were feeling the effects from just watching. Tang Chen, standing right in the middle of that inferno, must be under unimaginable pressure. Behind the crowd, Luo Yuheng stared at Tang Chen, a worried look on her face. She had wanted to use Tang Chen to break the engagement, and to anger Hua Tiandu. But she never intended for Tang Chen to actually fight Hua Tiandu, especially not the Hua Tiandu, who was so terrifying and suffocatingly powerful. For a moment, Luo Yuheng almost thought that Hua Tiandu was an immortal, a supreme immortal who controlled the sun. Don't worry, that Yi Qingru said softly, little master uncle will never lose. Luo Yuheng was startled. She turned and saw that not just Yi Qingru, but Gu Beilu and Lu Piapiao, also wore confident expressions. Tao body Dharma image. Tang Chen looked at the endless, scorching sunlight, his face still calm. He stood with his hands behind his back and spoke a single word. Destroy. The gray chaotic airflow surged like a tidal wave, sweeping across the sky and engulfing the scorching sun. The powerful aura faltered as if the sun was baptized by a heavy rain, and then faded away, until it completely turned into nothingness. Then, the crowd saw a figure fall from the sky. It crashed to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust, and within that cloud, were smatterings of blood. Chapter 95, Beating a Child. Tang Chen wants to destroy the immortal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Naturally, it was Hua Tiandu. He crashed to the ground, spitting up blood. The 9 suns surrounding him flickered and died. The crowd was stunned. Hua Tiandu had unleashed his terrifying 9 suns burning the sky technique, only to be effortlessly defeated by Tang Chen. Just how strong was Tang Chen? Was he really only at the return to one realm? Nearby, Luo Yuheng gasped. She finally understood why Yi Qingru and the others had been so confident. Hua Tiandu and Tang Chen weren't even in the same league. Why worry about Tang Chen at all? The 9 Yang Dao body is a top-tier physique, powerful, sure, but don't forget I possess the innate chaos body, ranked number 1. Tang Chen said. Did you really think you could beat me with just a Dao body technique? Tang Chen stood in the air, looking down at Hua Tiandu. A smirk played on his lips, and he swung the Kunlun ancient sword. Instantly, the space between Tang Chen and Hua Tiandu fractured. A dark presence emerged, threatening to split body and soul, obliterating them both. Hua Tiandu's face twisted in horror. Without hesitation, he parried with the Red Sun Volume Celestial Immortal Sword. Bang, star. The 2 artifacts collided. The shockwave ripped through the area, pulverizing everything in its path. Hua Tiandu was thrown back by the sheer force of the blow, his grip nearly failing. He looked down to see blood blooming on his chest. How can he be this strong? Hua Tiandu raged inwardly. Tang Chen's cultivation was supposed to be weaker than his, yet, Tang Chen's strength was overwhelming. His martial arts, his skills, his immortal weapon, his endless magical powers, he was superior in every aspect. Hua Tiandu wondered if Tang Chen was secretly a reincarnated immortal himself, and not just any immortal, but one of the best. How else could he be so ridiculously powerful? Boom, boom, boom. Tang Chen's assault continued. With each strike, Hua Tiandu was sent flying, coughing up blood. The surrounding area was in ruins, rocks, shattered walls, and Hua Tiandu's blood were everywhere. That's brutal. The crowd was speechless. They had anticipated a fierce, perhaps even desperate battle. Instead, Hua Tiandu was getting the snot beat out of him, like a child being bullied. Did you notice? Someone said, Tang Chen hasn't used any swordsmanship. The realization sent a shockwave through the crowd. Tang Chen was a sword cultivator, swordsmanship was his greatest strength, but he hadn't used it once during the fight. Did that mean Tang Chen hadn't been fighting at full power? The crowd gasped. Tang Chen was like a bottomless pit, completely unfathomable. Okay, if this keeps up, I'm going to lose for sure. Hua Tiandu crashed to the ground once more. He narrowed his eyes, a vicious glint appearing within, buzz, star, the dark presence flashed again. Tang Chen, Kunlun ancient sword in hand, stood like a fallen god, the blade aimed directly at Hua Tiandu's chest. This time, Hua Tiandu braced himself for the attack. Just as the two immortal weapons collided, a beam of light shot from Hua Tiandu's forehead, striking Tang Chen between the eyes with incredible speed. Little Master Uncle. Tang Chen, Yi Qingru and Luo Yuhan cried out, but before their voices faded, the light hit Tang Chen's forehead. With superhuman reflexes, Tang Chen jerked his head aside, narrowly avoiding the full impact. This. Hua Tiandu's eyes widened. He had just seen the light hit Tang Chen. Only a handful of people in the world could react to that. Not even immortals. But Tang Chen had dodged it. The light hadn't even scorched his skin. You're the chief disciple of Qiankuan Cave Heaven, and you resort to sneak attacks in public. Tang Chen turned slowly, his eyes now shone with a silver-white light, as did the 3,000 strands of his hair. His gaze swept over Hua Tiandu, icy and filled with rage. I just wanted to use you as a punching bag to test out the Kunlun ancient sword's power, but you had to pull a cheap trick. Now, I have no reason not to kill you. Tang Chen's lips curled into a smile, and a murderous intent washed over the area. You think you can kill an immortal with your mortal body? Hua Tiandu roared, raising the red sun measuring heavenly immortal. You keep calling yourself an immortal? Then I'll kill an immortal today. Tang Chen's eyes blazed, he raised his hand high, and in the sky, 9-colored light swirled, condensing into an intricate lotus flower. The lotus spun, its power overwhelming everything. What is that? The previously defiant Hua Tiandu felt a fear he had never known before. He stared at the lotus, but couldn't comprehend it. It was a technique of immortals. No, it was beyond the techniques of immortals. Hua Tiandu panicked. One word flashed through his mind. Escape. He had to escape. He was going to die. You have the honor of being the first immortal to die by my hand, Tang Chen said, his face radiant. The lotus, suspended in the sky, descended upon Hua Tiandu with overwhelming power. A destructive aura engulfed everything. Hua Tiandu was paralyzed with fear. He could only watch as the lotus crushed down upon him. Boom. Star. The earth shook, and the sky trembled. A massive mushroom cloud billowed into the air. The blast wave roared outwards, sending everyone flying. When the dust settled, a semicircular crater remained, 1 kilometer across and 10 meters deep. Everything within a 3-mile radius had been obliterated. It was like the end of the world. The crowd was silent. They stared at each other, their faces filled with disbelief. It was outrageous. So outrageous, they wanted to curse. With an attack like that, Hua Tiandu has to be dead, right? Someone whispered. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. They scanned the crater and finally spotted Hua Tiandu in a small hollow. He was curled up in a ball, his face ashen, clutching a damaged jade artifact to his chest. He was unconscious. Chapter 96, Determined to Die, the mysterious guardian appears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A generation of geniuses, curled up like dogs. What a sight. Someone in the crowd almost pulled out their phone to record it, but then Hua Tiandu shuddered. He coughed up a mouthful of blood mixed with bits of internal organs. He's not dead yet. Tang Chen was surprised. He'd just used the wrath component of the Buddha's angry lotus. Hua Tiandu hadn't been killed outright, but then Tang Chen remembered the guy was a reincarnated immortal and possessed the Zheoyang Dao body. A true immortal has gotta have some serious skills. He's on a whole other level compared to regular geniuses. Okay, he's not dead, but he's close. Might as well finish the job. Tang Chen figured. This dude's a reincarnated immortal. Once his memories fully return, it's gonna be a problem. Tang Chen hates problems. If he can nip it in the bud, he will. Buzz, star, light bloomed between his fingers. Tang Chen was about to finish Hua Tiandu when he felt a rush of wind from the side. Qilin devastation. Ao Qiankuan, somehow, was back on his feet. He clutched the Kirin horns with both hands, the ancient Kirin reappearing. The two were perfectly fused. Ao Qiankuan was giving it everything he had. Even his blood was boiling, spurting out a thick, bloody power. At the same time, Yang Ling pulled himself out of the rubble. He roared, and billowing black light turned into jet black wings that wrapped around his body. revealing eyes bloodshot with murderous intent. A long spear materialized in his hand, countless lines covered it, each pulsing with terrifying intent to kill. These two are going all in, that the crowd frowned. Yang Ling and Ao Qianquan were risking everything, they were dead set on taking down Tang Chen. You guys again. Tang Chen's expression didn't change. He just shook his head and said, I was gonna let you off the hook, but you just had to come begging for death. Buzz. An ethereal sword hum echoed. Tang Chen's hand gripped his sword hilt, he lowered himself, held his breath, and struck. A hair-thin beam of sword light cut through the air, hitting Ao Qianquan first. So fast. Ao Qianquan didn't have time to react. The massive Kirin body was ripped open, revealing Ao Qianquan. His eyes were wide, but he didn't move. Then his head went flying. Ao Qianquan was down. Not far away, Yang Ling watched Ao Qianquan fall. He'd been charging forward, ready to attack, but his face drained of color. He spun around and ran, escaping with everything he had. Think you can get away? Tang Chen sighed and shook his head. Boom. A giant finger shimmering with spiritual energy descended on Yang Ling. The power was overwhelming, and Yang Ling was frozen in place. This feels familiar. Yang Ling was having flashbacks. Then, he was hit with a searing pain. For 100 meters, the air vibrated, everything turned to dust, including him. Yang Ling was dead. The crowd watched, paralyzed, even their souls felt numb. Just a moment ago, An Ling had vowed to make his ancestors proud. Now, they were both dead. Tang Chen didn't even have a scratch. His white robes were as pristine as ever, not a speck of dust on them. 3 geniuses, 2 dead and 1 seriously injured. Who would have predicted this? Technically, Hua Tiandu should be dead 3 times over. If Yang Ling and Ao Qianquan hadn't intervened, he'd already be worm food. After this, Tang Chen is locked in as the #1 young prodigy in the eastern wastelands. The crowd took a deep breath. They'd witnessed history being made, they'd seen the birth of the leading figure of the younger generation in Donghuang. Tang Chen was the architect of it all, everyone else was just scenery. After killing Yang Ling and Ao Qianquan, Tang Chen remained nonchalant, as if he'd just done something trivial. With a casual flick, he summoned Yang Ling's and Ao Qianquan's storage bags. And the Kirin horns. The Kirin horns resonate with the Kirin tooth bones. They likely come from the same place. Tang Chen murmured. He didn't dwell on it. After tossing the storage bags into his world seed, Tang Chen turned back to Hua Tiandu. Is Tang Chen really gonna kill Hua Tiandu? The crowd was stunned. If Tang Chen had acted before, you could chalk it up to being in the heat of the moment, not thinking straight, but now things should have cooled down. Hua Tiandu is the top disciple of Qiankun Grotto and the prized student of Master Tai. Killing him would inevitably spark a war between the two sections. Is this guy insane? Luo Heng was so shocked he covered his mouth. That's the top disciple of Qiankun. He's likely to become the leader someday. If he dies here, Qiankun Grotto will never let it go. Aren't you gonna stop Tang Chen? Luo Boheng turned to Yi Qingru and the others. Shouldn't they be considering the bigger picture and talking Tang Chen down? Why were they all silent? Junior Master is unpredictable and never does anything rashly or foolishly. If he thinks Hua Tian can be killed, then he can definitely be killed, Yi Qingru said casually. Junior Master has killed plenty of Tianjiao Daozi, and one more Hua Tian is no problem. The dispute between the two grottos is easy to solve. Just hack and slash until the end of time. Lu Pia Piao and Gu Beilu laughed. You're crazy. You're all crazy. Luo Boheng stumbled back, completely losing it. Hadn't Xianjian Grotto always been low-key? Why were they all so unhinged when it came to Tang Chen? Meanwhile, Tang Chen walked toward Hua Tiandu, muttering to himself, after I kill Hua Tiandu, his holy and immortal weapons will definitely be mine. The holy weapons are easy to deal with, but the immortal weapons are probably gonna cause some trouble. I wonder if Master and the others can handle the heat. Each immortal weapon is a supreme treasure. Qiankun Grotto won't let go of the red sun measuring heaven immortal ruler that Tang Chen stole. But still, trouble or not, he had to do it. Tang Chen flicked his fingers, and a beam of 9-color divine energy turned into a flaming arrow, piercing Hua Tiandu's vitals. Bang. starred at a muffled sound. A dark figure appeared in front of Hua Tiandu. The figure reached out and slammed into the flaming arrow. The arrow exploded into a shower of light. I wondered why you took my sword head on. Turns out you were looking for an opening to escape. Almost at the same time, a raspy voice that Tang Chen knew all too well echoed. Then, a middle-aged man in rough linen clothes slowly descended from the sky. He held a silver-white long sword in his left hand, and two bloody heads in his right. Some sharp-eyed people immediately recognized the heads. One was Tianjinren, the loser from the ancient Wutu country. The other was Jinjinren, the one who had fought a bloody battle in the grotto. Chapter 97, The Ultimate Sword Master Zizai, the Lawless Tang Chen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 97, EZ, the Wuji Sword Saint, and Tang Chen, the Unruly, by Tianjinren was Ao Qianquan's protector, Jin Yuzhenren was Yang Ling's protector. Both were top-tier cultivators, but now, they're all dead, just like Ao Qianquan and Yang Ling. The deaths of Ao Qianquan and Yang Ling were already shocking. Now, two more powerful figures have fallen. This trip to Xuanhuan Academy has been devastating for Xuezhan Dongtian and Wutu Kingdom, a truly painful blow. If Hua Tiandu's guardian hadn't intervened, Tang Chen would have killed him. This Xuanhuan Dongtian Junior Master is really something else. Does he even care about sparking a conflict between the two powers? People were in awe. Tang Chen was known as the most handsome man in the East Wilderness, maybe even the entire Xuanhuan realm. Now, everyone realized that his arrogance matched his stunning looks. He was absolutely fearless, with no regard for consequences. It seemed there was nobody he wouldn't dare to kill. Wait a minute, was Hua Tiandu's guardian actually the Yen Yang quasi-saint? No wonder he looked familiar. It was Yen Yang quasi-saint. But why does the right side of his body look so off? His sleeve is empty, like his arm is missing. Not like, it is missing. That statement sent a ripple of shock through the crowd. A quasi-saint is a real powerhouse who survived their celestial tribulation. These cultivators have been recognized by the heavenly Tao and are capable of achieving sainthood, but first, they need time to mature and prepare, earning them the title of quasi-saint. Yen Yang quasi-saint was well known. He'd gone to Qianquan Lingshan a few years back to undergo his tribulation, inviting countless cultivators to watch, making quite a spectacle, so everyone remembered him. Now, his right arm was gone. Putting the pieces together, it wasn't hard to guess that the ordinary-looking middle-aged man in simple clothes had taken it. Could he be Tang Chen's protector? To take Yen Yang quasi-saint's arm, he'd have to be at least quasi-saint level himself, maybe even a full-fledged saint. But why does he seem so unfamiliar? I don't remember ever seeing him before. Everyone stared at the middle-aged man. If he hadn't been holding the heads of those two cultivators and making those bold statements, they would have dismissed him as a roadside beggar. Saying I took your sword is less accurate than saying you capitalized on my distraction, intercepted my attack, and severed my arm. The name Wuji Sword Saint is well earned. Yen Yang quasi-saint declared. The crowd erupted. Wuji Sword Saint? Is that EZ, the Wuji Sword Saint? I heard EZ created the Wuji Sword Dao and slaughtered countless strongmen with it, even accomplishing the impossible feat of battling saints while still a Zhenren. No wonder Yen Yang quasi-saint lost an arm to him. Rumor has it he died during his tribulation, crushed by heavenly lightning. How is he alive now? More importantly, why is he Tang Chen's protector? As far as I know, EZ has absolutely no connection to Xuanhuan Dongtian. A new wave of excited whispers filled the air. Zibo, the Wuji Sword Saint, was a legend. During his time roaming the eastern wilderness, many sword cultivators considered him their leader. Some even hailed him as the greatest swordsman in the region. His swordsmanship rivaled that of He Xianjianxian, the top sword cultivator of the immortal era. He is my protector, Tang Chen said, his eyes fixed on Zibo. Zibo had never revealed his true identity during Tang Chen's time in the east wilderness, so this was their first real meeting. He looked ordinary, plain, and thin. His clothes were more than ordinary, they were shabby, just simple linen covering his body, like a beggar. But Tang Chen could feel the intense sword energy hidden within Zibo, a pure, deadly energy. While Tang Chen studied Ez was doing the same. he had come to understand Tang Chen quite well. Tang Chen was not only exceptionally talented but also ruthless, killing without hesitation when necessary. That's why Ez had killed the two Xuanhuan. Tang Chen had already crossed the line, making enemies, and killing their protectors didn't change things much, but Tang Chen's cruelty toward Hua Tian even surprised Ez. In terms of decisive action, Ez realized that he was not as good as Tang Chen. Senior E, would you mind adding a quasi-saint to the list? As Ez pondered, Tang Chen's voice echoed in his mind. Ez was stunned. Kill a quasi-saint? Did Tang Chen want to push further? Hua Tiandu is severely injured and near death, and you've already taken Yan Yang quasi-saint's arm. We're already at odds with Qian Kun Dong Tian. Let's finish the job and eliminate these two now, preventing future trouble. Tang Chen transmitted again. Ez stared at Tang Chen, dressed in a pure white robe, his back straight as a sword, his face as beautiful as an immortal. He was impossibly handsome. Who would have thought such a man would suggest something like this? He wanted to kill not only Hua Tiandu, but also the quasi-saint Yan Yang. Unruly. Truly unruly. I'm just suggesting it. The choice is yours. Seeing Ez's hesitation, Tang Chen added. Ez snorted, little ghost, don't try to goad me. I was just figuring out how to kill Yan Yang quasi-saint instantly, before he can react. He has that fairy artifact that can warp space. If I fail, he'll definitely escape. Ez explained. With his power, Ezbo could easily kill Yan Yang quasi-saint, but the frustrating fairy artifact had caused him to fail before. That artifact is called the Void Fairy Wrist, worn on Yan Yang quasi-saint's left hand. I have a plan to sever his left arm, but I need your help. Tang Chen said, his eyes filled with confidence. Ezbo was taken aback, then, he laughed. All right. I'll play along, that the author says. Good morning, I'm stuck with it. Chapter 98. Do you have many doubts? Another immortal weapon is in your hands. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 98. Got questions? New gear alert. Tang Chen and Yi stood side by side in silence, a scene that made quasi-sage Yan Yang uneasy. Well, the back mountain trip's over, gotta run. Quasi-sage Yan Yang muttered, ready to bail, but just then, Zizai, radiating saintly power, appeared, clutching a silver-white sword. The sword glowed, promising to slice and dice anything under the heavens. This sword was a beast, lightning fast and super aggressive. It ripped through space the second it appeared and was in Yan Yang quasi-sage's face almost instantly. You already took my arm, Zizai. Now you want the rest. Fine. No more Xianjian/Universe Cave Heaven Love Fest. I'll remember this. Quasi-sage Yan Yang raged. He threw up his left hand, unleashing a blast of spiritual energy that tried to turn the space into a black hole. Then, he fumbled for his void immortal wrist, desperate to escape. Yan Yang was still a quasi-sage, while he was just a little saint. Not to mention the missing arm. Outmatched, Yan Yang wanted to teleport out of there ASAP. Buzz, a warped space popped up in front of him. Yan Yang lunged forward, Hua Tiandu in tow, ready to ditch. But then, that killer sword reappeared, slicing at Yan Yang's left arm with savage force. Poof, another arm gone, and blood sprayed everywhere. The void immortal wrist, having fired its warp, fizzled and died. The twisted space vanished. What the? That sword hit my chest, not my arm. And I shattered the space. That should have slowed the sword down. How? Why didn't it? Yan Yang's mind was spinning with questions. He forgot the pain for a second, his face frozen in disbelief. Got a lot of questions, Senior Yan Yang. Tang Chen's voice drawled, saw the whole thing. Every little detail. But I'm not gonna tell you. Hope you don't mind, right? Yan Yang's head snapped toward Tang Chen, then came the anger, as the disrespect of what Tang Chen said sunk in. Buzz, Zizai struck again. The sword lashed out and struck quasi-sage Yan Yang square in the chest, shredding his clothes and revealing gray-black holy armor underneath. The armor didn't stand a chance against Sword Master. The light smashed and rippled, with the holy armor weakening to the point that it was failing. Son of a... I walked right into this. Yen Yang cursed. It was clear now, Tang Chen and Yi had planned this whole thing, they were working together like a well-oiled machine. I'll live to fight another day. And I'm taking Huatian capital with me. That determination flashed in Yen Yang's eyes, he gritted his teeth, his chest burst open in a spray of blood mist, the mist enveloped Yen Yang and Huatiandu, then they both turned into a streak of blood and booked it out of there, faster than the eye could follow. He's getting away. Tang Chen was stunned, Zizai and he had teamed up to almost kill Yen Yang, and now he was escaping. Those who've survived the heavenly calamity are recognized as strong by heaven. Killing them isn't easy. Plus, Yen Yang burned all his holy blood for a speed boost. With that kind of price, escaping was almost guaranteed, Zizai explained. Seeing Tang Chen's frustration, Tang Chen perked up a little. Holy blood was the source of a saint's power, it was crucial for a quasi-sage transformation. Yen Yang had lost 2 arms and burned all his holy blood. He was probably done for, from one point of view, he had already died. Huatiandu's a true immortal reincarnation, and the Qiankuan cave heaven still has his back. Otherwise, they wouldn't let him wander around to train. Whatever. Got a magic weapon and crippled a quasi-sage. I can live with that, Tang Chen thought. He held up the void immortal wrist. This thing can warp space at will. It's not the best weapon, but it's great for dodging. If you pair it with your Kunlun ancient mirror, even a saint couldn't touch you for a while. Zizai glanced at the Kunlun ancient mirror on Tang Chen's waist. He'd managed to slice off Yen Yang's arm thanks to the mirror's illusions, which had tricked Yen Yang into thinking the sword was aimed at his chest. The Kunlun ancient mirror could distort images, fooling even saints. The void immortal wrist could warp space to dodge attacks. They were the perfect pair. I grabbed the void immortal wrist thanks to your strength, Senior Yi, so it's yours. Tang Chen approached Zizai and offered the wrist, his dark eyes shining with honesty. Zizai was surprised, then shook his head. I really want the wristlet, but you came up with the plan. You deserve it more. Before he could finish, Tang Chen bowed and said, thank you for your generosity, Senior. Then, Tang Chen strapped the void immortal wristlet on himself, smooth and swift. Zizai's expression stiffened. Looks like Tang Chen wasn't offering to give up the pair after all. He was just playing hard to get. Chapter 99 A Chicken at the Mercy of Others, Lifelong Honorary Dean. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Chen and Zizai jumped into action without a second thought, but in that short time, the crowd was reeling from one shock after another. Quasi-Sage Yen Yang's left arm broken, his immortal weapon stolen, then, in desperation, he burned his holy blood and fled in utter humiliation. Was this even real? It felt like Huatiandu and Quasi-Sage Yen Yang had become chickens ripe for plucking, completely outmaneuvered by Tang Chen and Zizai. The crowd was buzzing. Just then, the Academy's great elder and a group of senior officials descended from the void. The chaotic atmosphere instantly hushed. Is it just me, or did the great elder and the Academy officials appear a little too conveniently? They showed up right after Quasi-Sage Yen Yang and Huatian ran off. I feel it too. I mean, this is Qianlong Academy. You'd think the Great Elder wouldn't allow a fight to break out here. But things got way out of hand, and they didn't lift a finger. Something's fishy. Qianlong Academy's always been neutral, never interfering in power struggles. So not stepping in is pretty normal. But this is still Qianlong Academy, right? Shouldn't they be expelled? Everyone looked at the Great Elder, whispering amongst themselves. Something definitely felt off. The Great Elder walked forward and asked Tang Chen, little friend Tang, are you alright? The crowd was speechless. Seriously? The brawl had just trashed half of Qianlong Academy, but instead of chewing him out, the Great Elder was asking if Tang Chen was hurt. Unbelievable. Tang Chen looked a little sheepish. He bowed slightly and replied, thanks for your concern, Great Elder. I'm fine, but Qianlong Academy. Don't worry about it. No problem at all. The Great Elder waved his hand, smiling. The place was falling apart anyway. Good riddance. We'll fix it up later. Your well-being is what matters, Tang. I shouldn't call you little friend anymore, should I? I should be calling you Dean. Silence, the crowd was stunned. Dean. Tang Chen was the dean of Qianlong Academy. What was going on? Great Elder, are you sure you have it right? Tang Chen looked startled and questioned the elder. The great elder smiled faintly, lowering his voice. The late dean left specific instructions, stating we should treat you as the honorary dean for life. You've earned the title. Tang Chen suddenly understood. That explained why the great elder and the senior officials were in such a hurry to leave. They must have sensed true immortal Tianji's passing and rushed over to hear his last words. As for the honorary dean title, Tang Chen thought for a moment, then accepted it. An honorary dean position was more like a hands-off role. He wouldn't have to deal with the day-to-day hassles of Qianlong Academy, make decisions, or even show up on time, perfect for him. Besides, he promised Tianji Zhenxian he'd look after Qianlong Academy, so having an official role made sense. What are you all standing around for? Haven't you met the dean? Seeing Tang Chen's silence, the elder assumed he was unhappy with Qianlong Academy's formality. With that, all the senior officials bowed, shouting, "Greetings, Dean!" Their voices thundered through the air, jolting the crowd from their stupor. Their faces showed a mixture of emotions. Now I get it. That's why the fight dragged on and no one from the academy intervened. They knew Tang Chen had the upper hand, so they let him clean house. First the Xianjian Cave Heaven Protector, and now Qianlong Academy. Tang Chen is seriously scary. What's scariest is that Tang Chen is the junior master uncle in Xianjian Cave Heaven and the dean of Qianlong Academy. Two incredibly high-ranking positions, and he just got back to the realm, and he has two identities. Talk about being born under a lucky star. The crowd couldn't stop chattering. Today had been a non-stop roller coaster, thrilling, shocking, and it all revolved around Tang Chen, and all because of Tang Chen. He was like the eye of the storm. No matter how wild things got, he remained calm, watching it all unfold with a smile. In a remote corner, a figure in white watched Tang Chen with a smile. It was Feiyu Dao Yanbuku. What an innate chaotic body. This is going much faster than expected. Yanbuku narrowed his eyes, a wide smile spreading across his face. But that's good. The smoother his progress, the more amazing he'll become. After I take his body, everything will be perfect. With that, Yanbuku turned and left. It was as if no one noticed when he entered the back hill of the academy, when he was expelled from the back hill of the academy, and when he came to this remote corner. His departure was so elusive that there was no trace of it. In another corner, Luo Zhongxiao and a group of Taiyin cave higher-ups were gathered. They were also staring at Tang Chen, but they were silent, and the atmosphere was tense. Headmaster, what do we do now? A Taiyin elder spoke, his expression grim, because Luo Zhongxiao had been so confident before. They hadn't bothered to stop the rumors Luo Yuheng had deliberately spread. Now, Tang Chen had not only defeated Hua Tiandu but humiliated him repeatedly. To top it off, Yan Yang Quasi-Sage suffered heavy losses and didn't even get his immortal weapon back, fleeing in shame. If the rumors that Luo Yuheng and Tang Chen were lovers spread now, it would sound like Tang Chen had thrashed Hua Tiandu because of Luo Yuheng. Even if the rumor wasn't true, it sounded terrible. How could Xuanhuan Cave Heaven stand for such a loss of face? In anger, the engagement might be called off, and relations between the two caves would freeze. Headmaster, seeing that Luo Zhongxiao still wasn't responding, the Taiyin elder prompted him again. Finally, Luo Zhongxiao snapped out of it, saying something that shocked everyone. He said, "If I become Tang Chen's father-in-law, then seniority-wise, I'll be the same generation as ancestor Chunyang, and Taiyin Cave Heaven will subtly outrank Xianjian Cave Heaven. Come to think of it, that wouldn't be so bad." Chapter 101 Person suppresses the entire era. Ao Cangtian comes out of seclusion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Taiyin elders were stunned. After they recovered, they grumbled to themselves. Master, don't get carried away with these rumors. Anyone can see Tang Chen isn't interested in Luo Yuheng. You haven't even started planning their marriage, haven't even picked up a pen. What, Taoist partner, what, father-in-law? That's all made up. Look at all the women Tang Chen already has around him. Yi Qingru, the most beautiful woman in the East Desert, Yi Rushue, the knockout from Yaoqi Cave Heaven, and now Qin Shiyan, Princess Bailing. These women are just as good as Luo Yuheng, if not better. We're men, we know what men want. Besides, Tang Chen might not even be able to handle Luo Yuheng's attitude, that the more the Taiyin elders thought about it, the more agitated they became. Finally, one of them interrupted Luo Chongxiao's daydreaming. Master, let's table this for now. If Qinkuan Cave Heaven attacks, what's our plan? He was afraid Luo Chongxiao would start naming his grandkids if he didn't stop him. Don't worry, Luo Chongxiao said, regaining his composure as master. Hua Tiandu's seriously injured, Yan Yang quasi-saints all but useless, and they lost an immortal weapon. Qinkuan Cave Heaven's probably a disaster zone right now, they won't have time to attack us. Let's not rush the marriage. We'll play it cool, like nothing happened. I have a feeling things are about to get wild in the East Wilderness. Our best bet is to stay calm and see what happens. Tang Chen's trip to the Academy's back mountain was over, he wanted to leave immediately, but the Academy elder insisted he stay for another day. He split the day in half, part of it he spent at Qianlong Academy. He familiarized himself with how it worked and discussed gambling with the Academy elder. Tang Chen knew nothing about gambling, but as a veteran keyboard warrior, he knew enough to bluff. He blew the Academy elder's mind with a few clever remarks, and the elder declared he had no regrets in life. The other half of the day, Tang Chen went to Qingmu Palace, he checked on the Qingmu king's condition and negotiated the terms of their alliance. He thought it would be complicated, but Qin Shiyan had already planned everything out. Tang Chen just had to rubber stamp it, and it was done. He gave the powerful female president a thumbs up, which made Qin Shiyan blush. Yi Qingru, on the other hand, had been in a bad mood all day, shooting daggers at Qin Shiyan. Seeing her as a rival, there was definite tension between the two women. The next day, Tang Chen and his crew left Qingmu capital. Luo Yuheng also left with the Taiyin Cave Heaven people. As they departed, the stories of what had happened spread like wildfire across the East Wilderness. Everyone who heard them was shocked. He reached the top of the back mountain in one go. He effortlessly killed 2 top prodigies and crippled Qinkuan's leader. Wuji Sword Saint Zizai was his bodyguard. He cleverly used a trick to disable Yenyang Quasi-Saint. He became the lifelong honorary dean of Qianlong Academy. Any one of these things would be enough to make headlines, but these things happened at the same time. And Tang Chen was the star of the show. It was unbelievable. All eyes were on Tang Chen. Other talented cultivators paled in comparison. They weren't even supporting characters. A superstar had arrived. One person was dominating the whole generation. When Luo Yuheng got back to Taiyin Lingshan, she expected Luo Chongxiao to blow a gasket. Instead, he just said a few words and shut up. Luo Yuheng was confused. Father, there's something I need to show you. Luo Yuheng took a deep breath and handed him the maid's employment letter. Luo Chongxiao glanced at it, and his eyes widened. It's happening, Luo Yuheng muttered to herself, bracing for the storm. If I'm not mistaken, you were Tang Chen's maid for 8 days, which comes to 24,000 Xingyuan stones. That should be enough to empty our treasury. You can send it to Tang Chen in a few days. Luo Chongxiao said calmly, pocketing the maid's employment letter. Luo Yuheng was speechless. That was it? His daughter was treated like a maid, and he had to pay for it. Shouldn't he be furious? And what did he mean, send it to Tang Chen? Did he expect her to go to Shenzhen Lingshan herself and deliver the Xingyuan stones to Tang Chen? She, the Taiyin saint, would be completely humiliated. That's settled. Find some time to drop it off. I have things to do. Bye. Luo Chongxiao stood up and started to leave, then he paused. I asked the kitchen to make dessert. Go have some after we're done. Luo Yuheng was touched. She was still her father's little girl after all. What kind of dessert? Luo Yuheng asked sweetly. Papaya. Luo Zhongxiao said earnestly, a bloody war in Lingshan. The deaths of Yang Ling and Jin Yuzhenren had inspired the Bloody Battle Cave disciples to practice harder. They all seemed to be on steroids, training like crazy. Defeat Tang Chen and prove the Bloody Battle Cave's strength. We can't lose face. Tang Chen must die. Good morning, Bloody Battle Cave sky. Have you cursed Tang Chen today? Bloody warrior souls, bloody warrior disciples are the most energetic. We want to train quietly and then blow everyone away. In Bloody Battle Cave, they were all headcases. Since the beginning of the Immortal Fall era, the Bloody Battle Cave had seen the greatest training craze in its history. Wu country, a skinny young man in black sat quietly on the dragon throne. Below him, countless ministers knelt with their heads bowed, not daring to look at him. "How's my father doing?" The young man in black asked softly. His voice wasn't loud, but it made the ministers tremble. One of them quickly replied, "Your Highness, the king has been unwell since birth. He's been bedridden for over 2 weeks. The second prince's affair has worsened his condition. At this point, we can only pray." The heavy news made the atmosphere in the palace freeze, but the young man in black showed no emotion. He nodded. "Understood. You may leave." The ministers narrowed their eyes. They didn't dare say anything and bowed before retreating. "Tang Chen," that the young man in black murmured. His blood-red eyes narrowed, and he said with a smile, "This boy's famous and at his peak. If we can use him as a stepping stone, we can easily dominate the younger generation of the eastern wasteland." The young man in black smiled with satisfaction. His laughter echoed through the hall. "He's a prodigy, he just got out of seclusion."